Right now on News 3 this morning, Sunday, storms roll through the viewing area overnight, bringing heavy rain and loud booms of thunder. Chris is tracking the latest. Plus, authorities in Oshkosh continue to investigate a deadly helicopter crash after the difficult search for survivors. And an old Janesville home given new life and a new purpose. How it'll help generations of women turn their lives around. Your news starts right now.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
And a very good morning to you, and thanks for joining us on News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is June 10th. I'm Josh Bretter with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, another rainy one out there this morning.
That's right. Tracking a lot of rain overnight. Some folks getting in on some flooding, especially as you work your way out west towards Grant County. The fact of the matter is, over the past 24 hours, a lot of water has been picked up, especially over southern and western Wisconsin. In fact, 2 to 3 inches just over southwestern Dane County. You get over towards Platteville, that's where they saw more than 3 inches of rain. That's, of course, where they did have the flood warnings as well overnight. Right now, a lot of the heaviest rain starting to fade out a little bit, but we'll keep some of those rain chances around. The heaviest rains now tracking well to the south and east of here, with some back building showers behind that across portions of north central and northern Illinois. Temperatures all in the 60s right now. You work your way to the north, things are a little bit cooler in the North Woods. Rylander at 56, Superior at 45, but Rockford at 65. We're at 62 here in Madison. It's going to be a hazy, dreary kind of day until we get some of these clouds to thin out, but we're going to keep the shower chances around pretty much all day long. Temperatures in the 60s to right around 70 degrees for those highs, with additional rain chances as we go into the afternoon. Here's how traffic looks right now. So far, things are moving smooth, but the roads are wet, so take it easy. Don't be in a rush this morning, just for the sake of hydroplaning. Some slowdowns are showing up on our map, especially along the western end of the belt line. On the cameras, no big slowdowns actually showing up out there. Nonetheless, like I said, the roads are wet. If you're headed into town, just give yourself some extra time to come in. It's going to take you about 30 minutes from Janesville, 15 minutes roughly from Sun Prairie to downtown.
Maybe a nice day to hunker inside then, huh?
Yes, it is. It will be. If you have those outdoor plans this morning, you want to make sure that you have some backup plans.
All right, Chris. Thank you. Developing overnight, a 78-year-old man has been found safe after the Wisconsin Crime Alert Network issued a silver alert. Officials say David Michael Lee was last seen walking his dog near his cottage in Econo Falls, Wisconsin around 8:30 last night. His wife went looking for him and their dog, but returned to find him, the dog, and a car were gone. Authorities believed he was heading back to their home in Milwaukee. Madison police are warning of an attempted strong-arm robbery just after 11 on the intersection of Division and Helena Street on the east side. They say a person was walking alone when he was approached from behind by a man who grabbed him by the shoulders and demanded his wallet. Police say the victim denied having a wallet and the suspect ran away. The victim wasn't injured and nothing was stolen. Police described the suspect as a black man about 5'7", wearing a black hooded sweatshirt. In Rock County, new life is coming for a century-old home near downtown Janesville, and its purpose is to help women get their lives back on track. Jenna Midda tells us more about this home and the couple behind the Micah Project.
Given that it's over 100 years old, it's in beautiful condition, but we're doing just some sprucing up.
Sweeping, painting, vacuuming.
It's a labor of love.
Volunteers are spending hours preparing this home for its new occupants.
We're opening this home to house women who are in recovery from substance use disorders.
Women who have hit their low point, but are looking up.
Our mission is based on Micah 6:8, which tells us to act justly, to love with mercy, and walk humbly. And so we are going to be doing that with women in recovery.
Because Emily Keek and Bart Schmidt know how difficult addiction can be.
Our son, almost exactly a year ago, overdosed, and he barely made it. But he did make it.
And now they want to bring hope, joy, and guidance to women in recovery.
If we can prevent one family from having to sit at the bedside of their loved one in the ICU not knowing if they're going to make it, that will make this whole project worthwhile.
The home can serve up to 6 women, and there will be a live-in mentor to help them set goals and readjust to recovery.
They need a safe, secure environment, and they need community support. And we've gotten so much community support, it's exhilarating.
pouring hours of work into this house, which will become a home for women who need it most.
But we're really, really excited to get people living here and start making a difference in the lives of women in our area.
In Janesville, Jenna Middaugh, WISC News 3.
Volunteers will be finishing up work on the home this morning. 2 women are scheduled to move in when the home officially opens on June 25th. Firefighters say a Janesville family was spared even more damage after a garage fire because several doors were shut inside the garage and home. They are now investigating what caused that fire to start. It happened around 4:30 Saturday morning inside a garage connected to a house on the 1800 block of North Britt Road in the town of Janesville. Everyone inside the home was able to get out safely. The homeowners are looking at around $100,000 in damage. Right now, one of Madison's most popular restaurants continues to clean up after a fire. According to a Facebook post, the Old Fashioned on the Capitol Square likely won't reopen until Tuesday. On Saturday, they said they now won't be able to reopen until the health department can inspect it. Madison firefighters were called just before 4 o'clock Friday, responding to a fire inside the restaurant's kitchen. That fire caused a lot of smoke, forcing everyone to be evacuated. Fortunately, no one was injured. One person has died following a helicopter crash in Oshkosh, and now investigators are looking into how it happened. The Winnebago County Sheriff says the helicopter hit a power line Saturday, landing in the Fox River. As crews work to get it out and look for victims, witnesses describe the scene.
I was scared. I didn't know what to do. People were over here. There was people fishing out on the pier, and all I saw was a power line come down and clip, go over right there.
It's unclear if anyone else was inside at the time. Crews had a hard time looking for survivors because of the power lines in the water. New information this morning into the search for a fugitive in Wisconsin. Police in Waukesha County believe 43-year-old Jonathan Progreba broke into a cabin just southeast of Blair, Wisconsin earlier this week. He left a note saying he took the license plates off of a BMW, a white one, he's driving to the Boundary Waters. Progreba is wanted by police after allegedly pointing a gun at his wife and assaulting her. Authorities say he's dangerous and could be armed, so anyone with information is asked to call 911. Right now, researchers say Wisconsinites are heavier than previously thought. A new study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison says the state's obesity level is 10 percentage points higher than past estimates. Researchers say the state's obesity level is closer to 30%. The data was taken from nearly 2 million patient measurements. The report also found rural areas have higher rates of obesity than urban areas. And a new study shows Wisconsin's poverty rate increased in 2016 and especially impacted children. The measure found the child poverty rate increased 2% in that year. The 10th annual Wisconsin Poverty Report shows the state's poverty rate rose to nearly 11% from 9.7 in 2015. Study's author says while more Wisconsinites are working, their earnings may not be increasing as quickly as costs such as housing, health care, and child care. Well, 6:38 right now. It's not the kind of weekend weather you hope for in June, but could things be turning around for the better? Here's a live look over the Capitol on this rainy Sunday morning. Chris is tracking storms and is in next with his full first alert forecast. And the 60s were a turbulent time for the city of Madison. A look back at the events that took place at Bascom Hill that changed a city and a generation. You're watching News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
And we are still tracking a lot of the rainfall out here right now. I've got an umbrella that's at least trying to help out a little bit, but we're going to keep some of those rain showers around for this Sunday morning. The sunshine not here, but we're still tracking those showers and thunderstorms. They did dwindle in coverage over time, but picked up in intensity just a little bit as these continue to work their way through. A lot of the heaviest showers and thunderstorms are now well to our south and east across portions of Illinois, but we're going to keep a lot of those rain chances around. I want to show you what happened pretty much over the past 12 hours. You had a complex of thunderstorms that started out to our west and really just kind of blew up as it worked its way to the east. That brought the intense, heavy rains overnight and a lot of it. And let's go ahead and zoom in just over the past couple of hours. And you see how a lot of that rain that was really intense has started at least to try to fall apart. But we're going to keep a lot of those rain showers around. Here's a live look at downtown Madison right now. Yep, that's all you have to say about that picture for a Sunday morning. It's a day to stay indoors. Temperatures right now are in the 60s for a lot of us. They're going to stay in the 60s. With all the water falling out of the sky and on the ground, it's going to be hard to actually heat things up into the 70s. So high temperatures may have to be bumped down. Upper 60s as you work your way over to the west. As we go through the rest of the day, we'll keep the shower chances around. Here we are going towards the afternoon and evening. Some of those may wrap back in from the east before working their way out. We'll keep a lot of the cloud chances around through Sunday and Monday as well, as the stationary front pretty much just hangs around. It's going to keep some of the cloud cover around too. No full out, just all sunny days. But as we go through the rest of this morning, you'll see temperatures rising from 61 to 65, mostly cloudy with those showers and thunderstorms. This afternoon we'll try to reach 70, but as long as we keep this cloud cover around here, 70 is going to be a pretty hard temperature to reach. The next 7 days showing those rain chances around pretty much each and every single day, and then we'll get a break towards next weekend with more rain chances returning. But with the additional rain chances, that's going to keep temperatures sticking around in the 70s for those highs.
You know, I've been wanting a car wash, Chris, but it looks like it's going to be a few days before I can do that.
It will be a few days, but if you need your suit jacket washed, it's happening right now.
All right, Chris, thank you.
No problem.
What is called the Madison Reunion, a party with a purpose. This week, hundreds of former UW students will gather for the 50th reunion of the class of 1968. The gathering will look back at what was perhaps the most tumultuous decade in Madison's history, the 1960s. Our Mark Kane headed to campus to look back at the 10 years that changed the fabric of the city.
The 1960s, describe it in one word.
Upheaval.
Madison's unofficial historian, Stu Levitan, has been digging into the city's past. His new book, Madison in the 60s, will be published this fall. He looks back at the decade and sees upheaval. Ground zero for this change, Bascom Hill on the UW campus.
This is ground zero for a lot of important, critical events to not just the university, but the university's relationship with the city. And it is the university which defines the city. I mean,
absolutely.
There's no other single entity as important to the city of Madison as the university. Without the university, we're Rockford with lakes.
And it all unfolded under the unblinking eye of Abraham Lincoln.
So in the shadow of Lincoln,
yes,
a lot of stuff happens.
A lot of stuff happens. This is the site of several iconic events. Of course, in 1963, President Kennedy's memorial service here, very somber, dignified, mournful, shocked event. It was the state's official memorial. April 1968, another memorial service. We come to mourn our dead heroes in the shadow of the first martyr. Martin Luther King's memorial service was here. The black students had demanded of Chancellor Fleming that they be in charge of the memorial service for Martin Luther King, and Chancellor Sewell yielded to them. They were so insistent, they were so angry.
And by the middle of the decade, that anger boiled over on two fronts.
You're a 19-year-old college student in 1967, 68, and if you don't maintain your grades and your class ranking, you're going to go to Vietnam. That's going to put a lot of stress in your life. And that's going to make the war the most important thing in your life. The extent to which the war and race overshadowed everything in that decade is incomprehensible to people who didn't lived through it or who have at least studied it.
The war protests are well known. The racial divide, not as much.
We had a race riot at Breese-Stevens Field in which white kids and black kids and white cops went at each other. We had racial violence around the city. We had the white football coach, the assistant football coach, quitting the team in protesting, accusing the black players of being terrorists. In 1968, there was the firebombing of South Hall as part of a protest over civil rights, students demanding that the Regents sell their stock in Chase Manhattan Bank because it supported the apartheid government of South Africa. Where we're sitting in February 1969, there were an array of National Guardsmen. There were National Guardsmen on this campus with fixed bayonets. You know, fixed bayonets in crowd situations.
For many, that was the 1960s.
For a lot of people, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll was really good, but the political situation was very bad.
So as former students return to campus to look back 50 years, there will be panel discussions and concerts and memories relived and lessons learned.
There's a reason to commemorate. There's a reason to look back. There's a reason to learn. There's a reason to reflect. There's a reason to try and apply the lessons of the 1960s to the reality of the 21st century. There's an arc. There's a historical arc of freedom and the move towards justice and economic dislocation and social upheaval and cultural change. And this hill is a focus. This is a locus. This is one of the places where it happened. You hear about being in the room where it happened. This is the hill where it happened.
60, it's quite a decade.
For the most, yeah. I'm glad we only did it once. I don't think we could do it again.
In Madison, I'm Mark Kane, WISC News 3.
The Madison reunion takes place later this week, June 14th to the 16th. Many events are sold out, but there are a number of free activities taking place, mostly at the UW's Memorial Union. You can check out all of those events planned at madisonreunion.com. This weekend marks another milestone. It's the 10-year anniversary of the Lake Delton breach that drained millions of gallons of water into the Wisconsin River, destroying 5 homes. The Fromm family lost their home in the flood. Insurance didn't cover the loss, and worse than building from the ground up, they had no ground to begin with, the land gone as well. But with some help, they were able to rebuild, so instead of dwelling on the past, they threw a party to celebrate how far they've come. Time now is 6:49 this Sunday morning. Elegance and exclusivity. One of Madison's premier restaurants is the Madison's Club. And coming up, we're headed there going behind the scenes with the club's executive chef. This month's Taste Maker segment is just ahead. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning, Sunday. And welcome back at 6:52 this morning. One of the most elegant and exclusive places to dine in Madison is the Madison's Club. Executive Chef Andrew Strubing oversees all culinary operations at the Madison Club, which hosts weddings, lunches, dinners, and meetings for members and guests. Madison Magazine managing editor Andrea Bailing checks it out for this month's Tastemaker segment.
We are here at the Madison Club with Executive Chef Adam Strubing. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks for coming.
First, what do we have on the table here?
All right, so I got two dishes here. I'm really into Latin cuisine, and so I did a taco here. So it's a sweet potato and bone marrow tortilla. Ooh. And then it's got country fried beef cheek, satsuma orange salsa, some crispy pig ears, and charred avocado.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot going on there.
Yeah, and there's some feta cheese.
Wow.
And then, yeah, there's a lot going on, but it all kind of comes together.
Yeah. And what's this dish here?
And then here we have Fox Heritage Farms rack of lamb, pistachio, guajillo butter, some crumbled pistachios. There's our ramp mole sauce.
Ramp mole sauce?
Yep. Some sauteed chanterelles and some black garlic.
So who are some of your influences in cooking?
So growing up at a very young age, I started cooking with my grandfather, who was from Sicily.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's funny because a lot of times everybody like thinks I'm Italian or something, but I'm not at all.
No.
Yeah, it was but anyways, I grew up, cooking octopus at a young age with him, and just cooking things like, 7, 8-year-old kids normally don't eat or cook. And
not an octopus for sure.
Yeah, he got me into it, and I don't know.
Yeah. So Madison Club is membership based, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me how much is a membership?
Sure. It's always $50 a month if you're under 40 for young professionals.
Okay.
Which is a nice deal. And then right now this year, through the end of this year, we're running a centennial special because it's our 100 years that we've been in this location.
Oh.
And for anyone, it'll be $100 a month.
Wow.
And it's $50 goes to spending in the restaurant, and then the other $50 is just for dues. So it's $100 total, and then, yeah.
And dessert. This looks gorgeous. What is this?
So this is our citrus trio. So it's a lemon tart, key lime cheesecake, and a blood orange sherbet.
Oh my goodness.
And then it's got a bunch of different citrus garnishes. But yeah, we make all these in-house. My pastry team is very talented.
Wow. That's one that I would not want to share if that came to the table. Delicious. Well, thank you so much for having us today. It's so good to meet you.
You as well. Thanks for coming.
Looks tasty. 6:55 right now. There's a full hour of News 3 ahead this Sunday morning. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories and have a preview of the president's highly anticipated meeting with Kim Jong-un. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we're going to talk about the challenges and opportunities unique to women in business. WISC-TV and Madison Magazine are once again partnering with our friends at SVA Management Consultants to offer the Women in Business Initiative. SVA principals Jenny Harritz and Kirsten Houghton will join me to preview the event and what women might learn from each other there. And that's coming up at 10:30 on WISC.
A one-time shot. That's how President Trump is describing his summit this morning with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. A preview of that historic meeting.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is June 10th. I'm Josh Breiter. We're tracking the latest storms with Chris in just a moment, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. A 78-year-old man has been found safe after the Wisconsin Crime Alert Network issued a silver alert late last night. Officials say David Michael Lee was last seen walking his dog near his cottage in Econo Falls, Wisconsin around 8:30. His wife went looking for him but returned to find him, the dog, and a car were gone. Authorities believed he was heading back to their home in Milwaukee. Right now, Madison police are warning of an attempted strong-arm robbery just after 11 on the intersection of Division and Helena Street on the east side. They say a person was walking alone when he was approached from behind by a man who grabbed him by the shoulders and demanded his wallet. Police say the victim denied having a wallet and the suspect ran away. The victim wasn't injured and nothing was stolen. Police described the suspect as a black man about 5'7", wearing a black hooded sweatshirt. One of Madison's most popular restaurants is waiting to reopen until the health department can inspect it. According to a Facebook post, the Old Fashioned on the Capitol Square likely won't reopen until Tuesday. Madison firefighters were called out just before 4 o'clock Friday, responding to a fire inside the restaurant's kitchen. That fire caused a lot of smoke, forcing everyone to be evacuated. No one was injured. A new study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison says Wisconsinites are heavier than previously thought. The state's obesity level is 10 percentage points higher than past estimates, closer to 30%. The data was taken from nearly 2 million patient measurements. The report also found rural areas have higher rates of obesity than urban ones. Meteorologist Chris Reese is here now inside, drying off with the first alert forecast.
That's right. My suit arm here soaked, but the other word of the day is going to be fog. Visibility very low from Madison down through Monroe from the rain and the fog that we do have out there. Also, you go over to Lake Michigan. Check this out. Fog rolled in right off the lake. You've got visibility down to 1 3/4 mile in Milwaukee. So it is certainly a foggy look. Here's looking out from the station. You really can't see far. You've got some flooded fields down there as well. And then the Edgewater sky cam just shows that, yeah, it is one of those kinds of mornings. We're tracking one round of heavy rain that's kind of moving through Madison right now, pushing to the south and east. So that's going to be approaching places like Stoughton as we go through the next few minutes. But there's been a lot of water that has fallen 1 to 3 inches across portions of western Dane County. You get out to the west, 3 inches or more. I've seen some reports of more than 6 inches of rain that has fallen in the past 24 hours, putting together a graphic for you guys on that one. But as we go through the rest of the day, we're going to keep the clouds and shower chances around. Temperatures will likely be staying in the 60s. Your traffic still running smoothly out there. I do want to remind you that if you're headed out, just take it easy. We do have one little incident here on the belt line, and so with the wet roads out there, you just want to make sure that you're being careful. But for the most part, roadways across Dane County are running smoothly. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Developing right now, Air Force One is minutes away from touching down in Singapore for President Trump's highly anticipated meeting with Kim Jong-un. The president has said if this meeting goes well, he'll consider inviting him to the U.S. But he also has repeated that he's willing to walk out if the talks don't go well. Bianca Goladraga explains the challenges, the stakes, and the delicate diplomatic dance.
Given the 25 years of failed negotiations, I think the president has made that bold move, saying, I'll meet him. I'll give him that major deliverable, and hopefully we'll move forward.
Ambassador Joseph DeTrani is guardedly optimistic about the North Korea summit. Between 2003 and 2006, he was the U.S. Special Envoy for six-party talks with North Korea.
I think North Korea wants a normal relationship with the United States. Kim Jong-un has made it very clear with his New Year's address in 2018. His focus now is on the economy.
But given how much effort, how much money, how much investment he's made into this nuclear program, it begs the question, why give it up?
I mean, we have to be realistic. Hopefully this is what will transpire at the summit, is that Kim Jong-un articulates very clearly that he has made the strategic decision to give up his nuclear weapons and missile delivery systems in exchange for security assurances, economic development assistance, and a normal relationship with the United States.
President Trump's own advisors reportedly worry about how prepared he will be going into the meeting.
I don't think I have to prepare very much. It's about attitude. It's about willingness to get things done. But I think I've been preparing for the summit for a long time.
I actually think that they might have good chemistry, believe it or not.
Sumi Terry, the Korea chair at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, says President Trump could hit it off with Kim Jong-un.
He's very gregarious. He's very different from his father, who was an introvert and kind of antisocial and kind of a strange guy.
And Terry says the optics matter.
Well, I don't know what Kim Jong-un is going to do about the height difference because Kim Jong-un doesn't want to look in any way small, both physically or just symbolically.
In diplomacy, any gesture, from a lingering handshake to who foots the bill, can carry political significance.
There had been some speculation as to whether or not the U.S. would be paying for his hotel room and accommodations for him and his entourage. Do you find that controversial at all?
I think, was it James Clapper who had dinner in North Korea and they gave him a dinner bill? North Koreans are notorious for this, so of course they're going to give us a tab. I think Singapore might pay for it. I think this is sort of ongoing negotiation in terms of who's paying for it.
Negotiators typically choreograph every detail, from the entrance to the greeting. But leaders do go off script, and mistakes do happen. In 2005, at a meeting with the Chinese, President George W. Bush memorably tried to exit from a door that was locked.
I think the photo op is important for both leaders to be able to sort of go back and say they had a successful meeting.
Hopefully it will be start of a new type of relationship, one that will lend itself to peace on the Korean Peninsula.
How important is that they walk out of these meetings on the same page?
You know, I smile because we've had some agreements in the past when we were negotiating with North Korea, and if we thought we agreed on the language, and all of a sudden they're saying something different. So yes, that's extremely important, because those elements, it's not only atmospherics, those elements of process.
And trust, right?
Trust. You know, it's very unusual. I mean, you're going into meetings with this, between our respective countries, there's zero trust. Zero trust.
We will have live coverage of the summit from the moment President Trump's plane touches down in North Korea. We expect that to happen during our 7:30 half hour of News 3 This Morning, Sunday. Meanwhile, Democratic Senators Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin and Kamala Harris of California are in Madison this weekend speaking to voters, specifically young professionals. Senators Baldwin and Harris have advocated together in the Senate in support of progressive policies and brought their message to Madison's Near East Side for a crowd of young voters Saturday. As Democrats head into the midterms, many see this audience as crucial to success.
You've seen the energy across our city, across our state, across our country. So much of the energy right now is fueled by young people who just desire to have a voice and desire to help shape our country and our state.
In her speech, Baldwin expressed concerns that the federal government is working with the interests of big business at heart rather than that of the people. This was just one stop in a tour across the state. Ahead of today's event, Republican State Senator Leah Vukmir released a statement saying in part, quote, San Francisco voters may support liberals like Kamala Harris and Tammy Baldwin, but their radical left-wing agenda doesn't reflect Wisconsin or our values. This weekend, Governor Walker is talking with farmers about several problems facing the state's dairy industry right now as he spent his Saturday serving food at Rock County's Breakfast on the Farm. He addressed the shrinking number of Wisconsin dairy farms and told News 3 he's working to find ways to help farmers.
Overall, agriculture represents about an $88 billion impact, and about half of that's related to dairy. And we know, in particular now more than ever, with nationally milk prices being too low, we want to make sure we continue to find ways to support our farmers in the dairy industry.
He also visited a breakfast in Sauk County. Coming up on 7:09 this Sunday morning, when we come back, it's a big day for some of southern Wisconsin's best high school musical performers. Not only are the National Tony Awards tonight, but local kids are up for some newly named Jerry Awards. Our Michael Bruno has a preview of the gala when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Some of the rainfall totals out there are impressive this morning, and that did lead to some localized flooding, especially across portions of southern and western Wisconsin. One of the top spots of your top 6 rainfall totals comes from Fenimore in Grant County with 6.6 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. That is a lot of water on the ground. Steuben coming in at just over 2 1/3 inches of rain. Prairie du Chien right at 1.6. You get over to Richland Center, 1.16. Platteville got just over an inch of rain. And then there's the Wisconsin Dells, just over 1/4 of an inch. So you see where the rain was essentially the heaviest, especially across southern and western tiers of the area. That's where we've really just seen a lot of these complexes of thunderstorms come from the north and move to the south and east. We have a little bit of showers left over portions of central and eastern Dane County throughout Jefferson County, right along the interstate headed towards Milwaukee. That's where the heaviest of the rain is coming down. So out here on our patio, thankfully, the rain starting to die down just a little bit. The heaviest of the shower and thunderstorm activity now across central and northern Illinois, but we'll watch for those rain chances to continue as we go through the rest of the day. The past 6 hours really saw a batch of, or the past 12 hours saw a batch of really heavy rain move on through here. It really dumped a lot of water in a short amount of time and then began to fizzle out as it moved to the south and east. But here's what it looks like downtown. The fog starting to thin out just a little bit, but it's still a pretty dreary look outside. Temperatures are in the 60s right now, 60s for all of us, upper 60s as you work your way towards southern and western Wisconsin. But we're going to keep those rain chances around, especially for central and eastern Wisconsin as we go throughout the rest of the day. Clouds will stick around as well, especially through part of Monday. As we keep this stationary front around, it's going to be hard to really get rid of the cloud cover and the shower and thunderstorm chances. This morning, temperatures rising to about 61 degrees, 65 degrees rather. This afternoon, you'll see your highs right around 70. 70s will be the name of the game for the next 7 days, other than 180-degree temperature on Wednesday. When you have these increasing rain chances, it's going to be hard to get your temperatures out of the 70s. A break Friday and Saturday, more rain chances showing up for days 8, 9, and 10. Josh?
I mean, the temperature is still looking pretty decent, but it'd be nice to get some sunshine.
Exactly. At least it's not extremely hot with all the rain that we have out here.
All right, Chris.
No problem. Thank you.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this. Julie Hogue sent us this on Facebook. This is Roxbury, Wisconsin. Check out that sunrise. Very beautiful picture there. Thanks for sharing, Julie. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. The 72nd annual Tony Awards are tonight, and dozens of big-name performers are ready. Rehearsals have been underway all week. Cast members of SpongeBob SquarePants the Musical have been putting their best feet forward. The show, based on the long-running cartoon, is up for 12 awards, including Outstanding Featured Actor for Gavin Lee, who plays Squidward. SpongeBob is tied for the most nominations with Tina Fey's Mean Girls, which is based on the 2004 movie she wrote. Rounding out the Best Musical category are The Band's Visit, based on the Israeli film, and Frozen, based on the Disney smash. The Tony Awards air tonight at 7 o'clock live from Radio City Music Hall, right here on WISC-TV 3. Some of South Central Wisconsin's top high school musical theater performers are taking a big stage of their own tonight. The Jerry Awards, formerly known as the Tommy Awards, will be handed out over on the Overture stage. Recipients will perform throughout the evening, and many who have been featured in our own backstage with Bruno's segments over the years. Here's a preview of the big show.
Come with me to see something strange unfold. So tell me a little bit about the role you played that got you here to the awards.
Lotta Lord is a narrator of James and the Giant Peach, and he's very magical, mystical, and just the storyteller of the whole show.
And what did you think when you first were told you got nominated for that part?
I was so happy. I won last year, and I really wanted to be in this group of people again. It was really fun.
Well, you may not know all the characters, or you may know all the characters, but you might not know how that person as an actor perceives their character in their song. Today's rehearsal is one of the lead medleys in the Jerry Awards. So all of the students who win Outstanding Lead Awards are put into medleys. There's usually anywhere from 8 to 10, sometimes 12 in a medley. And the rehearsal today is the medley that I'm directing with 9 students from various high schools.
And this was the actual segments of the songs that they got the award for from their individual high school?
Yes, the award was given to them for the role in the song that they're doing today. And so they're doing about a 1-minute portion of that song, and we're weaving it all together.
I don't need adventure in some faraway frontier.
My character was Sandra Bloom, and she is the wife of Edward Bloom in the story, who the show focuses on, and it's about just these fantastical tales that he tells to his son.
And what did you think when you first found out that you got nominated for that part?
I was absolutely ecstatic. We had won Outstanding Musical last year, which was an amazing opportunity, and I was just really excited to get recognized this year.
Sit yourself down and meet the best innkeeper in town.
Now, you're a freshman.
Yeah.
How exciting is it for you to actually, is this your first
Yeah,
award?
it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts being one of the only freshmen that got the leading performer award.
Me, a gent of good intent, who's content to be master of the house, downing out the charm, ready with an handshake and an open palm.
And so tell me a little bit about your progress to getting the role.
So I've been in Les Mis 3 times, actually. So I've been with the show enough times that I know a lot about it. And when I was young, that was the part. Thénardier was always the part that I wanted, not to be like Valjean or Javert. Was always the weird, oily guy for some reason. And so when our school announced doing it, not only was I ecstatic, but I wanted to play that dream part finally, and I got the opportunity after auditioning for it.
Everybody loves a landlord.
They do these lead medleys, and then at the end of the show, there's a big finale where all of the students who win the lead medley, leads, and the supporting all get together and do a big number together.
I do whatever pleases Jesus, what I played up in the end.
Good. React to him as big as possible, right? It just gives him more to play off of.
The 2018 Jerry Awards start tonight at 6 o'clock inside Overture Hall. And also, if you don't have your tickets, you're out of luck. The show is already sold out. Coming up on 7:20 this Sunday morning, more than 300 tiny turtle eggs are being cared for by the Dane County Humane Society. And a Baraboo woman is getting a big surprise, the town celebrating her love of the circus and elephants in particular. We'll introduce you to Miss Henry just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
It's not as dreary looking over downtown as it was just 15 to 20 minutes ago, but it is still a very wet and dreary look. Some of that fog lifted north. The rain showers still doing their absolute best to thin out. They're trying, and they'll get there eventually, but we're going to keep those rain shower chances around pretty much through the rest of the day, especially across Madison and points to the east. By the time we get you towards the afternoon and overnight, a lot of the clouds stick around as the rain moves out. They'll finally begin to thin out as we get you towards Monday morning. Planning the rest of your day, temperatures staying in the 60s for as long as we have the rain showers around, and that'll be pretty much all day. Josh.
Thanks, Chris. 7:23 this morning. Right now, our friends at the Dane County Humane Society are taking care of hundreds of turtle eggs. The Humane Society sees a lot of turtle patients around this time of year. They say that the turtles are moving from ponds to find places to build their nests, which mean they are more prone to be hit by cars.
If you do find a turtle in the road and it's safe for you to do so, you want to move the turtle off the road in the direction it was going, keeping in mind that it's likely a female that could be going to nest. So even if she's moving away from the water, you want to move her in that direction.
Currently, the Humane Society is incubating 333 turtle eggs. The turtles will spend 60 to 90 days in the incubator before hatching. Turtle hatchlings will then stay in their care for another week while they help them transition to the outdoors. Breaking news right now, President Donald Trump has landed in Singapore ahead of a historic summit with Kim Jong-un. You're looking live at Air Force One landing on the tarmac at an airbase there. It's just after 8:30 p.m. Singapore time. The president will spend the night in a hotel, according to the White House. Traveling with the president are Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, National Security Advisor John Bolton, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, and White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. The summit itself will take place Tuesday at the island resort of Sentosa. It'll be the first time a North Korean leader has ever met a sitting U.S. president. Before taking off, Trump described the summit as a one-time shot at peace and said the two were in unknown territory in the truest sense. Washington hopes the summit will kickstart a process that eventually ends with Kim giving up his country's nuclear weapons. But that doesn't mean the U.S. is expecting to get a final deal in Singapore this time around. President Trump has described it as a get-to-know-you situation and has said it is going to be a process. The two leaders have an extraordinary up-and-down relationship over the past 18 months, trading insults and threatening war before abruptly changing tone and moving towards a face-to-face meeting. We'll, of course, bring you live coverage of the president's arrival in Singapore as well as the summit itself right here on News 3. And CBS's Jeff Glore will anchor a special edition of the CBS Evening News tonight from Singapore. The generosity of a Baraboo resident is being celebrated this week. 95-year-old Lucille Henry is a lover of the circus and especially the elephants that were an integral part of a circus life for many years. We were there when Miss Henry, as she is fondly called, had the surprise of her life.
The community of Baraboo has had a 134-year relationship with the circus, and there are reminders of that all over the city. It was the hometown of the Ringling Brothers Circus and is now the home of the Circus World Museum, a living history museum featuring a big top and daily performances. This year marks the 60th anniversary of Circus World, and as part of that commemoration, the museum is working with the city of Baraboo on a special public arts project.
Our Baraboo Public Arts Commission recently commissioned an homage to our circus heritage, which is a family of 3 elephants that are on parade in Marin Park here in Baraboo.
The first statue of the baby elephant was dedicated last summer, and they started looking for funding for the 9-foot mother elephant statue. That's where Lucille Henry enters the picture.
This morning we thought that we would surprise Mrs. Henry with a surprise as only we could at Circus World. A humble thanks and gratitude for her generously supporting this public art project.
Lucille lives at Oak Park Place, and to orchestrate the surprise, the residents gathered outside on the pretense that they were going to have a special ceremony to name 2 new bronze giraffe statues at their home. Lucille was sitting prominently in the front, surrounded by her Oak Park Place family, and since she found it difficult to go to the circus came to her.
So this is the Circus World Elephants here especially for you, Lisa, Becky, and Tracy. And I bet they would love some treats. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple bananas. Gonna give you a couple of those, and we're gonna We're going to wheel you up. Is that okay?
Okay.
One more there at the end.
Becky, no, Becky, let Tracy have it.
Lots of bananas.
She's gonna get a little bit of boogers.
Yeah, you got a little bit of elephant boogers on your pants, but that'll come out. There we go. Nicely done. So that's how big the statue is going to be.
You know, that's gonna be a beautiful elephant walk.
It is going to be beautiful.
Yes, you betcha.
I agree.
Oh.
I agree.
I'm so happy.
The Baraboo Art Association is using Lucille's $12,000 donation to commission an Iowa metal artist to create the mother elephant statue. It should be finished by August, and they plan to name the figure Lucy in honor of Lucille Henry.
Oh, this is such a thrill, and watching them come up, and I get so close to them to feed them.
Yes, absolutely.
Favorite story of the week right there. 7:29, there's more ahead here on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Next, we're checking in on the morning's top stories, including the historic summit between the U.S. and North Korea as the president just landed in Singapore. And preventing the summer slide, one organization hoping books will help kids stay engaged this summer. How you can contribute to their mission. Right now, school's out for summer and thousands of area kids are ready to read, but they need your help. The Summer Reading Project now underway with a big goal in mind.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning, just after 7:30. Thanks for joining us for News 3 this morning, Sunday. It is June 10th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris will have your first alert forecast in just a couple of minutes, but first, let's get you caught up on your morning headlines. As you just saw in the program, Air Force One has just landed in Singapore ahead of a historic summit between President Donald Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. That meeting will take place Tuesday, and it'll be the first time a North Korean leader has ever met a sitting U.S. president. Before taking off, Trump described the summit as a one-time shot at peace and said the two were in unknown territory in the truest sense. Washington hopes the summit will kickstart a process that will eventually end with Kim giving up his country's nuclear weapons. We'll have live coverage of the president's arrival in Singapore as well as the summit itself right here on News 3. A 78-year-old man has been found safe after the Wisconsin Crime Alert Network issued a silver alert late last night. Officials say David Michael Lee was last seen walking his dog near his cottage in Oconto Falls, Wisconsin, around 8:30. His wife went looking for him but returned to find him, the dog, and a car gone. Authorities believed he was heading back to their home in Milwaukee. Right now, Madison police are warning of an attempted strong-arm robbery. This happened just after 11 on the intersection of Division and Helena Street on the east side. They said a person was walking alone when he was approached from behind by a man who grabbed him by the shoulders and demanded his wallet. Police say the victim denied having a wallet and the suspect ran away. The victim wasn't injured and nothing was stolen. Police described the suspect as a black man about 5'7", wearing a hooded sweatshirt. Chris is here now with your first alert forecast. Good morning.
Good morning. The visibility now starting to get better as that fog starts to lift over town. Here's a live look right now from the WISC-TV camera. You can already see that you're starting to see much farther out now than you could just moments ago. Visibility starting to really get better now at 4 miles in Madison, 2.5 miles as you get down towards Monroe. Even on the lakeshore, the visibility starting to get better. In Milwaukee, we've gone from 1 3/4 mile to 2 miles of visibility. So that is the good news. Here's the Doppler track showing you the rain now starting to move off. A lot of this is right along the interstate corridor through Jefferson County right now and over towards Waukesha County. And back to the west is where we still saw a lot of those heavier totals. More than 6 inches of rain fell over portions of Grant County. As we do plan the rest of the day, we're going to keep the clouds around with some shower chances around as well. Temperatures likely staying in the 60s because of that. One accident on the Beltline right now that we have been following. This is right at Todd Drive, just before the inbound town exit there. So do keep that in mind. So far, it's actually not really having a big impact on traffic. Traffic really moving smoothly there. And all across town, you do have a little bit of a slowdown showing up on the western inbound portions of the Beltline. Traffic cameras really not showing much of a problem there. But coming in from the towns and towards the Beltline, so far, traffic moving smoothly.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:36 is your time right now. One part of summer fun is summer reading for many children. And right now, a Madison organization needs help getting them the books they need. The Madison Reading Project has a goal to provide 30,000 books to underrepresented Dane County area children. So far, the organization has already given more than 13,000 books. With Madison students now on their summer vacation, getting books into the hands of students quickly can have a big impact.
If you get to pick out that book yourself, you're so excited about it. You want to read it, reread it, read it to a sibling or to your parent, and then you have a much bigger attachment to it, and it's fun.
2,000 books were given out last week alone. If you're interested in donating a book, visit MadisonReadingProject.com. Time now is 7:37. Coming up, it's the perfect summer car. And we're hopping in for a joyride. We go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the Mazda Miata, top down, when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
A lot of rain over the past 24 hours, especially across southern and western Wisconsin. They had some flooding issues there earlier. In fact, Fenimore in Grant County picking up 6.6 inches of rain. The rain very much dying off as we go through the morning, but we'll keep at least some shower chances around. A lot of the heaviest stuff now south of the I-39 corridor in Illinois. But here's how Future Track shows the rest of the day playing out, mainly across central and eastern portions of the state around Milwaukee. Some lingering showers that'll last into the afternoon and evening. Really, without any heavy showers, you're still going to get in on the cloud cover. This morning, temperatures rising from 61 to about 65 degrees. We'll see a high around 68 this afternoon.
All right, Chris, thank you. 29 years ago, Japan's Mazda Corporation first introduced the MX-5 Miata to the world. The two-seater sports car was an homage to the British and Italian roadsters of a generation ago. Now it's in its fourth generation. The Miata is as fun as the day, to drive as the day it first hit our shores. Our Mark Kane goes behind the wheel of the 2018 Mazda Miata with Harvey Briggs.
We have the ultimate summer car, the 2018 Mazda MX-5 Miata.
Call it pure driving bliss. This little roadster is for people who love to drive. So this is just pure driving fun.
That's it. This is a smile machine. You put the top down, you put the shift lever in first gear, and off you go. And any troubles you have, they're a couple hundred yards back there.
And it's a good thing to leave your troubles behind you because there isn't much room for them inside the MX-5 Miata. There's a little storage cubie between the seats, that's the glove box, and there's room for a couple of overnight bags in the trunk. But you know what? That's not the point.
It's a great, simple, fun car. This is really the spiritual successor to the MGB or the Triumph TR6 or those types of cars. It very much was patterned originally off of those British roadsters. This is a stone reliable sports car, so you can put it away every winter, bring it out every spring, and it'll fire right up with, you know, with the fuel injection and everything. There's very little tuning to do. It's just a great, easy to own, easy to drive, really fun to drive little car.
A fun to drive little sports car, and dare we say practical as well?
Practical from a standpoint of really good mileage. You know, we're talking 26 city, 33 on the highway. It's practical from the standpoint that it's really reliable. You don't have to worry about this car. It's not finicky like the old British or Italian convertibles were. And it's practical in that you can get two people in here. I fit in this car, and there's plenty of headroom, even with the top up.
Oh yes, the top. Into each sports car's life, some rain will fall, and our 2018 has the new available dark cherry soft top.
If you get caught in the rain, here's the beauty of this. I want to show you this. You do this, and you do that.
That's it.
And that's it. This top is locked and ready to go.
And that's part of the charm of this two-seater, its simplicity. Even though our middle-of-the-line club trim comes with a ton of safety equipment, a 7-inch info nav screen.
We also on this car have the BBS Brembo Recaro seat package, so you've got special wheels, special brakes, these really nicely bolstered sports seats. This has the 9-speaker audio system in it, which has 2 speakers in your headrest.
I was going to say, how are you going to fit 9 speakers in this car? And with all of that, we are pushing $35,000. Though a base Miata, they call it Sport, starts at $25,200. Both mechanically identical with the same 155 horsepower engine, which Harvey thinks is just the right amount of power to push this 2,300-pound roadster through curves or cruising down the highway.
And it's hard not to drive this car and have fun. It doesn't matter where you're driving or what you're doing in it, as long as the sun is shining and the top is down, you know.
No worries.
That's right, it's summer, Mark. Let's put the top down and enjoy ourselves.
For News 3 Sunday morning, I'm Mark Kane, WISC News 3.
Probably a good idea to keep that top up today. You can check out more of Harvey's reviews on his website, ridesanddrives.org. 7:45 is your time. Certainly not the weather you hope for in June. A live look over a very soggy capital this Sunday morning. Chris is tracking more storms in his full first alert forecast. Stay with us. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday. But first, here's a look at Who's 3 today.
And we are still looking at the rain totals coming in, especially from western tiers of the area. Fenimore got 6.6 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. That is a ton of water coming out of the sky. We go down the list. Steuben at 2 1/3 inches, 1.6 inches in Paris Duchesne, Richland Center just over 1 1/10 inches, right around an inch in Platteville. And then you have the Wisconsin Dells, just over 1/4 inch. The reason for that, the rain was much heavier as you worked your way from the south and west. So as you got to the north and east, you had a really sharp cutoff in the rain totals. Back down towards the south and west, that's where we saw several places of 3 inches or more. The rain really starting to fizzle out and work its way off to the east now. A lot of the heaviest rains now well to our south. Another complex of thunderstorms across central Iowa right now. I don't anticipate that to impact our weather as we go through the rest of the day. But the past 12 hours really saw how this heavy rain worked its way into town and then just began to fall apart just as quickly as the sun began to rise. Sometimes a lot of these thunderstorm complexes are really driven at night. Live look over downtown right now. It is still dreary. It's still damp. It's still wet. Temperatures are in the lower 60s right now. Winds coming out of the east northeast. We take a look back to the west. Temperatures a little bit warmer. Lone Rock at 6 65. You get over towards Boscobel, that's where the temperature is 66 degrees right now. Future track for the rest of the day showing that we should see at least some lingering showers, but most of that will be especially off and toward the east. Clouds will linger through the overnight time period before trying to thin out towards Monday morning. But throughout the day, as long as we keep the stationary front around, we will still see those clouds filtering in and out throughout the day. So that is something to be mindful of as we go towards your Monday there. 61 to 65 degrees as we go through the rest of the morning. We're going to see 68 degrees by the time we get you into the afternoon and evening, but we gradually warm back up in through the 70s and 80s over the course of time, but additional rain chances will stay in the forecast. With each of those rain chances, Josh, it is actually going to be quite hard to really get our temperatures into the 80s, but we will stay in the upper 70s. Humidity will be there. It won't be overly oppressive, but it will still at least be somewhat humid.
We just can't shake that rain.
We cannot shake that rain right now. It's still around.
All right, Chris, thank you.
No problem.
Time now is 7:51. News 3 is always on. Stay with us on air and online throughout the day. Even more changes are ahead for drivers on Verona Road. We're going to have a construction update tonight at 5:30 and 10. But first, imagine this young boy taking his school talents show stage by storm. What his grandma has to say about his award-winning act. Welcome back. A 10-year-old boy's piano playing is taking the internet by storm thanks to his performance of John Lennon's Imagine at a talent show.
Reporter Brian Will recently spoke to the boy's grandmother.
And as many times as I've heard him play and I've heard the song being played by him, still brings a tear to my eye. very proud of him. But he is just Adam.
Mary Kornowski is the grandmother of 10-year-old Adam Kornowski. He's the viral sensation in this video, performing John Lennon's Imagine at a school talent show.
I think he expresses himself through what those words are, you know, be it the conflict or being happy or whatever. And I think you can get that feeling when you listen to him.
And music is in this family's blood. Adam's dad graduated from Wausau West High School in 1994 and has been involved in music since then. He now teaches his children, Adam, Ethan, Natalie, and Olivia, his craft.
So together they share. They love to just sort of jam in the music room.
The Facebook post that got Adam all this attention now has more than 11 million views. And because of it, his family has received attention from national media outlets and TV shows like America's Got Talent. And now with so much focus on Adam, Mary wants to make sure the fame doesn't take away from his childhood.
You know, we have reservations about that because even for me being the grandma, I really don't want to share, you know, as much with just everybody because it's so special.
How about that talent?
Absolutely. As someone who loves music, he's going places. I can certainly tell.
Well, maybe a day to stay inside and play the piano, right?
Yes, it is. It's one of those days we're going to keep a lot of those rain showers pretty much around all day, at least the cloud cover, too. Lots of the heavy rain now starting to move onto the south and east, so it's trying to thin out, but those lingering showers will at least try to hang around. It looks dreary now. We'll keep the clouds around. Temperatures topping out in the upper 60s today. If we had some sunshine, we would try to push 70, but it's going to be hard to really get some of that sunshine in here throughout the rest of the afternoon. Additional rain chances coming late Monday and through Tuesday morning. The humidity will lower after that. We'll see 80 by Wednesday. Then more rain chances coming Wednesday night and Thursday, a break next weekend, then more rain chances after that. But temperatures with all these rain chances will stay pretty much on the cooler side.
Well, looks like a day to maybe cuddle up with a book or a nice movie.
Exactly. I will be inside pretty much all day this time.
All right, Chris, thank you, and thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.